closer than it's ever been. So, if we don't have it now, it's never going to happen. So, it's way closer than what it used to be. So, I think it's definitely going to happen.
Talk Nation. Let's dive right into it, man. It's your boy Real Talk back with another banger. And we seen Errol Spence drop 2 tweets yesterday. In one tweet, he was talking about basically Terrence Bud Crawford was stalling for months. Now, Bud Crawford has went on record and said he has been negotiating with the PBC and Errol Spence since June. It is October. Something ain't right. Errol further went on and said, it is hard, or it is hard to make weight. I've been doing this for a decade, meaning he's been at 147. Errol Spence is getting older. We know training camps are very rigorous on the body, and that does add up. And I understand that. He has said in the past that he would like to go up to 154, and Bud has said the same thing. But here's the thing. Errol Spence is younger than Terrence Bud Crawford. So who should want to move up first? Pretty much. That would be Bud Crawford. So if Terrence Crawford is trying to get this fight made, and he's not complaining about making a weight, something ain't right. But trying to give Errol credit yet again. Terrence Bud Crawford moved up to 147. He came from a lighter weight class. So it may be easier for him to fight at 147 than Errol Spence. But at the same time, check this out, y'all. Errol Spencer said, Terrence Crawford, I'm going to smoke you. You too light in the ass. So if Bud Crawford is too light in the ass, what's the problem? You should be relishing the opportunity to fight somebody who's light in the ass, somebody who you're going to go into this fight and physically muscle. We all know Errol Spence. He brutalizes his opponents with the jab, devastating body attacks. So why are you not in a rush to get into the ring with Terrence Bud Crawford and do the same thing that you did to your past opponents?
I don't even know what to say, bro.
Why? Errol has not had consistent knockouts. Terrence Bud Crawford has had consistent knockouts. First person to ever stop Showtime Sean Porter. Everybody says who has sparred with Terrence Bud Crawford, who has fought Terrence Bud Crawford, don't get it twisted. Bud is strong, freakishly strong. So for somebody that has come up from 35 to 49, 47, and he wants to go up to 54 as well, that's impressive. And that tells you Terrence Bud Crawford not only has skill, but he is a phenomenal athlete. And despite coming up from a lower weight class, he carries his power. Prime example also, look at Manny Pacquiao. A-division world champion. Manny Pacquiao came up from damn near flyweight, if I'm not mistaken. Finished his career at 47. And Manny Pacquiao had a fight at 54, if I'm not mistaken. And Manny always carried his power. So it doesn't matter if somebody comes up. Some fighters have power. Some fighters do not. Bud Crawford is one of those fighters that has power. That carries his power when he fluctuates weight classes. Actually, let me correct myself, because he doesn't fluctuate weight classes like a Canelo Alvarez. Terrence Bud Crawford has just simply moved up. He's not going back and forth. He's not jumping to 40 to 35, jumping back up to 47. You know what I mean? Moonlighting at 54. No, he's gradually going up. And as he goes up in the divisions, he's always been a world champion, being undisputed at 40, with the opportunity, we all thought, to possibly be undisputed at 47. Now, Errol Spence also wanted to be undisputed at 147. Now, all of a sudden, you want to jump up to 154, although you talked about it in the past. But Errol Spence talked about it in the past as past tense, as reference to once he did what he had to do at 147, meaning become undisputed welterweight champion of the world. So why are you going back on your dreams? Why are you going back on your word? You said you wanted to be undisputed at 147. You have one man in the way. After you beat your Dennis Ugas, you said in front of thousands of people in attendance, hundreds of thousands of people watching at home on their couches, that Terrence Crawford, I'm coming for that belt. These are your words, Errol Spence. Errol said that. So what's the problem? Terrence Bud Crawford has conceded to everything that PBC, Mayweather Promotions, TMT, and Errol Spence has put in front of him. You can concede to everything in the contract, but at the end of the day, I would like to know how much money that I could potentially make. This is a job.
I don't even know what to say, bro.
So if you just look at it from the financial aspect of it being hazard pay, I want to know how my bread will be looking like. You know Errol's making more money. We know that already. He ain't got to put his paycheck on Front Street. Everybody know his books will be straight. So why are they trying to give Terrence Bud Crawford the runaround? And now going into the David Avancian fight, he's going to have the biggest payday of his career and upwards of $10 million. So the money that they were not trying to give Terrence Bud Crawford, he's now making in this fight with David Avancian, which will be streamed on BLK Prime for $39.95, just in case y'all didn't know. Now, check this out, y'all. People talk about Terrence Bud Crawford's pay-per-view numbers. I spoke about this before. His pay-per-view numbers are lower than Errol Spence. Yes, that's a fact. But to be fair, Terrence Bud Crawford had some of his fights during COVID when basically nobody could be in attendance. A couple of his fights had to be streamed on ESPN+. And when those fights were streamed on ESPN+, the Kell Brook fight, that fight did approximately 2.78 million streams on ESPN+. Now, if you quantify over 2 million streams at $40 a pop, just do the math. At doing 450,000 to 500,000 streams, if that can pretty much gross you about 16 to 18 million, imagine what doing over 2 million streams is going to get. So for them to give Terrence Bud Crawford 10 million to fight David Avancian on BLK Prime, I ain't gonna say that's pocket change, but that's money in the bank. So why wouldn't Terrence Bud Crawford not only agree to those terms, but also agree to that fight? Right now, I believe that David Avancian, he's ranked, I think, number 4 in the WBC, if I'm not mistaken. I believe he is ranked number 6 in the WBO. And I believe the WBO title, which Terrence Bud Crawford holds, will be on the line. So if he defends his title successfully, he also went on record and said, you know what, I still want to whoop Errol Spence's ass. So he's not running from the Errol Spence fight. But he do not want to shelf himself. He wants to fight at least one time in 2022. He's already been, inactive, although he has been training because he's been training for Spence. Now his camp switches gears a little bit, and now they're going to prepare for David. But Bud has been training. So you have to salute Terrence Bud Crawford because, if you think about it, he didn't duck Errol Spence. I had to really think about it, and I had to be like, man, did he really, duck Errol? But he didn't duck Errol. He's doing not only what's fiscally probable for his career, for his family, for his legacy, but he's doing what's responsible. Because why are you going to sit up there and not fight at all because you're waiting for somebody else to stop playing games with the contract, whether it's management or the fighter themselves? Take that fight, defend your title, get paid, and if you really are going to fight Errol Spence, then at this point, whatever issues that the PBC, TMT, whoever are having getting that contract done, that's giving them more time to get their ducks in order, no pun intended, and get that fight made for I guess what they're trying to say for the first quarter of 2023.
I don't even know what to say.
And if any excuses when that time comes are made, then the fans, the media, everybody is going to know who truly was responsible for that fight not being made sooner. But you can't be mad at Terrence Bud Crawford for getting that bag. This is the biggest payday of his career versus David Avancian, the biggest payday of his career. So he would be a fool not to take it, especially if he knows the money is going to be there, especially if they're giving him the incentives and the guaranteed money that the PBC are not willing to do. Especially if this is the BLK streaming platform, if they're being transparent, not only about the monies, but how everything is going to be allocated. If they're being straightforward with the business, doing what the PBC and Al Heyman and company will not do, why wouldn't you do the deal? That's just good business. That's just smart business. And if you understand the sport of boxing, it's a dirty game. End of the day, dollars make sense. So the money is there. The fight is there. Take the fight. That's what Terrence Bud Crawford did. So if Errol Spence has pretty much been waiting for Terrence Bud Crawford, now let's see if Errol Spence will get a fight before 2023. If Errol gets a fight before 2023, he may also have an argument, because theoretically Errol Spence should be in shape already. He should have been training in the gym just like Terrence Bud Crawford. He wants a fight before 2023. It really shouldn't be that hard to make. I would say Jerron Boots Ennis, but the word is Jerron Boots Ennis possibly is in talks to fight Speedy Rashidi Ellis. We thought it was going to be Stanionis. Keith Thurman, don't even mention Keith one-time Thurman. He is consistently working on the Keith Thurman retirement plan, and it does not involve Jerron Boots Ennis.
Boots, great fighter.
But we all know, because I said this before, I'm telling y'all, I still think it may happen. Jerron Boots Ennis is possibly, once Errol and Bud do fight, I think he's going to be a co-main on that fight card, because he's the future of the division. And with the way Errol Spence is talking about, it's hard for him to make weight. He's been doing it for over a decade. He most certainly will be going up to 54 in 2023. And possibly, if everything works out with Terence Bud Crawford, especially if he's able to get that fight with Spence in the first quarter of 2023, he may move up to 54 sometime in 2023 as well. So with that said, y'all, the numbers for Terence Bud Crawford, the numbers are there. Even though they are streaming this fight, the fight is going to be $39.99, $39.95, however you want to call it. The numbers that he did streaming wise while he's with ESPN, especially he got over 2 million with Kell Brook, and he also did over 2 million when he fought Jose Benavidez. So when it comes to the streaming game, Terence Bud Crawford, they show up. People are willing to come out of their pocket. And $39.95, that's not a bad price point either. Even though times are tough, wallets are tight, people are going to pay $39.95 to watch Terence Bud Crawford, pound for pound, best in the game fight.